Hey everybody, it's Eric. I'm back with a 2004 Yukon XL. I'm replacing the pitman arm. I didn't think to make the video till after I already removed this part. I can talk you through it though, and I can give you a cheat that's going to make this job a lot easier and less work in the end for sure. So anyway, here's the old part. We're going to be replacing it with a new part. And the first thing you're going to do is, well, through the wheel well you can see it. I'll show you. There's a bolt here and there's two more hiding up here. And what I did was I backed those two bolts out. And I'm doing this on the ground, so it's not that bad of a job, obviously, me being down here on the ground. So anyway, I backed those three bolts out that hold on the gearbox. The job calls to remove the whole thing, and that requires to freaking take off the steering linkage and also the two lines that are running the fluid to the gearbox right here, and I didn't want to have to do any of that. So, and the reason they call you to remove it, to take it off, is because you got to get this pitman arm puller on there, and there's not enough room between the rest of the suspension and this cross member right here. So the way to do this is go ahead and back out those three bolts that are holding on the power steering gearbox, and then that allows the gearbox to go ahead and move away from the frame. And it's okay because this gearbox right here is on, these lines that are running to it are flex lines. Now this part right here at the very end is metal, but everything else is flex lines. So it won't hurt anything by doing this. I mean, you won't damage anything. And what that allows you to do is move this gearbox around in here. And so even with the pitman arm on there, and so you move this over and you'll be able to get your socket on there. It's a 32 millimeter. Get your socket on there and then run that off, and then get your pitman arm puller on there, and you'll have plenty of room to do this now. And you can pull the old pitman arm off, and then of course undo the other side of the pitman arm where it's hooked up to the other part of the suspension right here. And then if it's kind of, because they're tapered, go ahead and shock this with a hammer, or you might tap the bottom of it with a hammer, and normally it'll come right out. A pickle fork could do it. If you're ever reusing parts, pickle forks will damage the rubber grommets that hold the grease in. So if you're going to be reusing a part, for instance, if I had to take something else apart in order to do a job and it was going to go back together, a pickle fork would be my last option as far as a tool to grab and how to get them off, because it's going to damage the rubber boots. Anyway, but you could use one on here because you're going to be replacing it with a new part. So anyway, once you get the old one off, then you go ahead and you put this side in first up here on the suspension. Pull that through. You don't have to tighten it down all the way. Just go ahead and get it through there and get the nut started, so that way it's hanging on. That gives you leverage at the far end of the pitman arm. And with one arm, you're going to hold the pitman arm. With the other arm, you're going to pick up on this gearbox and line this up. Now, if you look, there's threads on here. And those threads all look the same except for on 4 places. And there's going to be a place that the threads, there's a notch that's a little wider. And so either you're going to be really far off with your new pitman arm, like a whole quarter of a turn off, or you're going to have it back on straight to the world where it came off. And so, you know, it's pretty simple. When you take them off and put them back on, because we're not taking this gearbox all the way off, we're automatically going to be lining it up the right way, because we're going to be shooting from here straight back, and it's only going to, because the notches are too far away to make it, so you're only going to put it back on the right way. Just be sure that you do line up the notches, get it started up on there as far as you can, get your nut started, and then as long as everything's lined up, go ahead and put your impact gun on there and draw the two pieces back together. Okay, you can do this with hand tools, but it's going to be tough. It's going to use quite a bit of arm strength. And eat your breakfast in the morning, because your arms are going to be in the air for a while underneath here doing this. Anyway, but once you get the new part drawn back on like that, then go ahead and pick up on your gearbox and everything. It'll still move, and then get your bolt spec started over here for your power steering gearbox. Get all those started and then tighten those back up. You can look up the specs for this stuff, but everything basically needs to be tighter than fuck. Excuse my language, but it basically just needs to be tight. And then you're pretty much done. Test drive the car. Everyone recommends to get a suspension alignment, you know, a front end alignment whenever you're messing with suspension parts. And I'm going to go ahead and recommend it too. But this part in particular, because there's notches in it, it can only pretty much go back one way. Either you're going to be right or you're going to be really far off. I mean, it's only going to go, you know, and so you can't put it on but one way as long as you're... If you take off the whole power steering gearbox, though, it could be easy to forget which way this was going on. But being that it's on the vehicle still, it's going to go back on one way. I'm still going to have an alignment done on my truck, because I just recently had it on a tow truck, and I'm not sure what's going on, but my steering wheel don't seem to be 100%. This part's being replaced because I could hear the joint going bad, a little bit of rattling inside the truck. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody out. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. Like and subscribe. Share my video if you feel someone else might use this information as useful. Again, my name's Eric, and thanks for watching. Bye.